Hassler here. I'm going to work through the 9.4 Explore as well as give you some quick notes for lesson 9.4. We're going to be talking about measures of center, things like mean, median, mode. We will talk about what outliers are and what the range is. We're going to look at some data sets in order to do that. This should be a review from your past math classes, but if you have any questions, let me know. It says 9 students were asked about how many hours each week they spent watching TV. These were their responses. So the 0, 4, 6, 5, 3, 5, 5, 2, and 1 relate to 9 different students saying how many hours they spent watching TV. So one student said 0 hours, one student said 4 hours, etc. Calculate the mean, median, mode, outliers, and range. Oh, right. When we talk about the word mean, that means that I'm going to add all these numbers up and I'm going to divide by the number of numbers I have. In other words, I'm going to say, okay, I am going to add up 0 plus 4 plus 6 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5 plus 5 plus 2 plus 1. So there were 9 students, but I'm just going to check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to divide by 9. So when I add all those up and I divide by 9, I get 3.44. Median is the middle number. Now, when I look at this set of data, it looks to me like 3 is in the middle of this data. But what happens if my data were scrambled? It might end up that there's a different number in the middle. So we want to make sure that we are all consistent across the board by understanding what it's meant when we say find the middle term. So we want to put these numbers in order from least to greatest and then find that middle term. So it looks like the smallest number is 0. I like to cross them off as I write them down. 1. I have a 2. I have a 3. I have a 4. Looks like I have 3 5s. And then I have a 6. I always like to just count my list to make sure that I have all 9 pieces of data. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. And then I have to find the one that's in the middle. So to do that, I tend to like to cross off the lowest data point and the highest data point, and then the next lowest and next highest, until I have crossed everything off, and that leaves one number in the middle, and that's my median is 4. Mode is the number that occurs the most often. Now that I'm in order from least to greatest, it's easy to see that 5 occurred the most often. It occurred 3 times. Outliers are numbers that are really different compared to the rest of the data. And so typically these lie on the endpoints or the outside of my data pieces. 0 here would be one end of my data, but that's not really any different from the number 1. They're only 1 away, and 1's only 1 away from 2. So 0 feels pretty close to the rest of this data. The other end of my data is at 6, but that's not really any different than the 5. And so I don't have any outliers here. I don't want to write 0 as in no outliers because 0 is a number in my data. So I'm going to write none. Range is the distance between the biggest and smallest. And so not just that you're going to say from 0 to 6, but we're going to say 0 minus 6, which is 6. So the length of this data set or the distance between these data points would be 6. All right, we're going to run through, actually, I'm going to have you press pause, and I'm going to have you run through and try your hand at problem 2 to see if you can figure out the mean, median, mode, outliers, and range for set 2.